Hey guys, you're gonna have to excuse the mess today. This is turning out to be a real impromptu video here. I keep doing this, man. I keep doing stuff in the garage and on my bike and forgetting to film it. I'm so excited about the new Lowrider S here and stuff that I'm just flying on, doing stuff, and I keep forgetting to document it. So, pardon that and excuse the mess in here. I'm gonna do this real quick. I want to cover that I did a Lucky Dave's seat based on multiple recommendations online, Brooklyn Low, and they did a review against the Saddlemen with Connor FXDB and all that, who also have this bike, and I have not ridden on it yet. It's been raining like crazy here in South Florida, so I just put it on. Just sitting on it in the garage, I can tell you straight up, there's a pretty significant difference to the stock seat. As far as lumbar support, as far as padding in the tailbone area, which was my main problem with the factory seat, the jury's still out. I can tell you that I love the way it looks. It looks banging. The quality from Lucky Dave's, second to none, man. Just a beautiful, beautiful seat. Style-wise, couldn't have made a better decision. Even if it isn't that much better than the factory seat, just the style alone made it all worthwhile. Did have to wait like 22 days for it, but he custom made it for me. He did not have it in stock, so it was made specifically per my order. Based on that, I am going to go ahead and pull the trigger on some Lucky Dave's bars. And bars are not cheap, kids. You know, they're an investment just like the seat. So I kind of looked without leaping on the seat thing, but the seat, you can do a lot of reviewing on the seats and see people say whether they're happy or not. And everybody was pretty much happy with the seat, but bars are kind of a different thing altogether. I've got the 2-inch spacers on here that I did, but they need to go up more, and I want to do an FXRD deviant fairing conversion on this, so I need higher bars. So which bars to get? You can't just go around trying to find people that have the bars already done. That's impossible. So how do you figure out which bars are the right bars? You have to kind of feel them, right? How do you do that? That's where this junk laying on the floor comes in. I got a lot of stuff that I make out of PVC here for my boat. So I got thinking, I got a heat gun. Why not bend some PVC to kind of mimic the bar, and then make a replicated kind of bar based out of PVC, and then just hold it up on the bike and see how it feels. It's not a perfect thing, but it'll give me an idea of how the bike is going to feel a little bit, I think. So that's what I'm doing. I take the PVC here, and then with the hand that I'm now currently holding the camera with, I heat it up with the heat gun, and I roll it along here till it gets super hot. Then I put the heat gun down, and I make my bend to where I want it, and I hold it there for about 30-40 seconds until it hardens. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side until it kind of resembles the pitch of a bar curve, and then we'll do the second part, which is to try and mimic the different heights and pullback of either the Lucky 13's bars or the San Diego bars, and we'll try it both ways. So hit that. Alright guys, so here's where I'm at. I've got it pretty much bent equally on both sides. I just rotated the, sorry about the noise in the background, I rotated the PVC until you started to see a little browning start to happen there. That's how I knew it was super hot. Bent it, got it about where it was almost hardened, then put it on the floor and made sure that it was equal on both sides as far as the pitch angle and all that jazz. Again, it's not perfect. It's as close as I could get it for what it is. And now we're going to work on the pullback. Alright guys, so I basically cut a little piece of pipe here and put a 90 on the end of it to kind of replicate for the Lucky 13 bars, the overall 13-inch height, and the pullback. Now again, these are MX bars we're talking about, but I'm not going to sit here and complex curve this piece of pipe just for that. All we need is a general downward pitch, the wrist angle, and pullback of the bar to mimic that, and the height and pullback. Just basic, just to give us an idea. So that's where we're at right now. I'm going to cut a small piece of pipe that's going to go in there and then notch it out to fit against that, and then that'll be our next step. Oh, I have to replicate this, obviously. I need 2 of these. All right, guys. So what I've done is I notched out a couple of, like, I don't know, like 1.5 pieces, stubby pieces of PVC that'll butt up on a regular piece here. And that's what I'm going to use to fit these 2 here. So I'm going to start putting this thing together here, and then we'll go from there. Alright, I think I've done a pretty decent job here of replicating to some degree the amount of pullback and general shape of the bars. I'm going to have to rotate them, obviously, to the appropriate position, probably like about like that, but I think we're pretty close here. Now I just need to fasten it all together, and then we can hold them up on the bike. So here they are, guys, for better or for worse. Got some wood screws in there just kind of holding things at certain angles. Like I said, this is not meant to be pretty. This is down and dirty, rough and gruff, just to give us an idea of angles, height, and pullback, so that we can hold them up on the bike and see how they look. So that's where I'm at right here, and that's essentially how I did it. Just kind of ran some screws on angles through those cupped pieces that butted up there. I tried to use glue here with the PVC cement. It just didn't hold. So we'll use these screws here to hold everything in place, and that'll essentially give us what we need. So next step is to put them on the bike and see how they line up and see how we feel. Another day in paradise. Gotta love summer in South Florida. Well, anyways, here we are. I just have them taped to the existing triples. Again, the pullbacks on here are to compensate for the fact that I have to run them alongside my factory bars to kind of see where they're going to fall. So the San Diego bars would not have a pullback, but this is kind of replicating the position of them. Again, not perfect, but it does give me an idea sitting on it of where those bars are going to be in relation to where my stock bars with the 2-inch risers are at right now. Might be off by 1 inch or 2 in some regards, but at any rate, when I sit on the bike, I have some idea of where my hand position is going to be as opposed to where they are right now. And this is something that you guys can do as well very easily in your garage with basic tools if you have them. If you don't have a heat gun, that's fine too. You can use an open flame. You know, if you got a tiki torch or something, you can use to just heat up the pipe, you know, a little bit at a time. Get it hot enough to where it'll bend. You know, so you can use a stove burner, any number of different techniques. I just happen to have the heat gun from Harbor Freight, which is like a $15, $20 deal, cheapo. 4 wood screws. I did use my grinder there on the old man stand to notch out the pieces of pipe. Again, you can notch it out different ways using a saw or whatever. Just an interesting technique that I came up with this morning while I was on Lucky Dave's site thinking about ordering some bars, and I wanted to know how they were going to feel. And for those of you out there that have the same kind of quandary going on and don't have the ability to sit on someone else's bike that has them, this is just a neat idea of something you can play with in your garage to, you know, get an idea. And this goes for any size bars. You can use PVC to kind of replicate any bars you want. You know, maybe if you're handier than I am, maybe you can do a little bit better job, nicer job, replicating what the bars are going to be. But this is just an interesting technique, and I thought I would share it with you guys this morning since I thought to grab my camera this time. Also, I should just do a quick cover of all the updates here. Blacked out the signals front and rear. And I can't remember whether I did a video on the fairing or not, the Harley Davidson quarter fairing with the quick release hardware. Just a cheapo off eBay. Came with the brackets already on there that basically, from all intents and purposes, are exactly like the Bung Kings. Shockingly, I only paid, I think it was like $70, $75, some ridiculously cheap amount of money for the fairing. These were the expensive part here. These were like $100 for the quick releases, and I did have to get hardware for them from the hardware store, stainless or chrome or whatever. That was like $16 for the chrome hardware, but otherwise still very, very cheap. Unfortunately, it's not blocking any wind. When I had my Harley Iron 883 Shopcat, I remember it blocking a lot more wind, but it's not doing anything on this. I have a JBL Bluetooth speaker, the tube. Not that I had the Charge 3, which was the smaller one that fit down in here, but now I have the big JBL Extreme that fits in here, and it's not that it's not loud enough, it's the wind noise. I can't hear it because of the wind noise. So I want to do that FXR deviant fairing on here, and then eventually the hard clamshell bags, probably from JD Fabs, because, you know, trying to buy originals and have them cleaned up and stuff just isn't worth it. Everything's out of stock everywhere right now because of Sturgis, I imagine, and because FXRs have become so popular now. There's a whole section of the show devoted to them, so everybody's out of stock right now. I'm waiting for them to get back into production, which should be sometime in the next week or so, and then I'll get going on that stuff. But that's it for now, guys. I hope if this idea helps you at all, you know, let me know. And until next time.